Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and we are going to talk about Wonder Woman 1984, the latest blockbuster superhero movie to be released. I don't think there's anything else that has been released uh, since that movie. So finally got a chance to watch this movie this afternoon, and a few nights ago rather, my cousin had actually told me that he had watched it and he wasn't very happy with it. He told me it was a bit of a disappointment, let down, and it didn't actually pan up to the 2017 first movie. I will tell you, I'm a big fan of Wonder Woman, both as a comic character, and although I haven't really read much comics in my life, but I have watched the Linda Carter series. I think both in Kuwait and some over here, and I love Linda Carter. Let me tell you. But Gal Gadot is, absolutely superb. I thought Gal Gadot is kind of like um, tailor-made for this particular role. The vision that they have for Wonder Woman in the current era, I think she's absolutely amazing in that particular role. The first time I, of course, saw Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is, of course, in while I was in the theaters watching Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and the crowd went crazy when she was in. I mean, we're talking about men, we're talking about kids, but especially women, and so she definitely is, also an awesome character. And I thought, for me, she kicked ass in that movie. The next movie that we see about her, Wonder Woman, I thought was really brilliantly done. It was one of my favorite superhero movies. She's amazing in it and all that stuff. Justice League, still loved her in it. In this one, there are some problems. I give you my overall review overall rating and stuff to the end. But let's have a look at, because of COVID and all that, they hadn't been released in the theaters. But yes, it is the sequel to 2017's Wonder Woman and the 9th installment in the DC Extended Universe. It's directed by Patty Jenkins once again. Script is written by Jeff Johns and Dave Callahan. Gal Gadot returns as Diana Prince and Wonder Woman, set in the year 1984, but we do see the opening clip is actually from when she was much younger, many years ago. You have Chris Pine returning. Now I was very surprised. I was wondering how the heck are they actually going to bring his character back. I thought maybe it's going to be flashbacks, or maybe the supervillain is actually going to... That was actually something that intrigued me. Maybe the villain for this particular, or maybe one of the villains for this particular movie would... create the appearance of Steve Rogers. Is it Steve Rogers? Yeah, of Chris Pine's character. So, not Steve Rogers. Steve Trevor. Steve Rogers is Captain America. So that's what I was thinking. Kristen Wiig appears as Cheetah, and she's playing the. Kristen Wiig is one of those actresses who I think cannot do much wrong. There are some thoughts for me initially going in that she might be wrongly cast in this movie, and I am not completely convinced. I would say 70% convinced of her in this particular role. Pedro Pascal, I was surprised to actually see him. I didn't actually check it out and see that he was in this movie. Robin Wright and Con Nielsen have that small roles in the beginning part of the movie. Feeling a little pause, so let's take a sip. So basically, after the flashback that we see, Diana Prince said in current generations, current times, in 1984. Boy, it's the 1980s. In 1984, I would have been 8 years old. But so she's going to be facing off against Max Lord and Cheetah. And let me tell you, the character of Max Lord, I thought Pedro Pascal did pretty amazingly. He's pretty good on the screen, but the wrong choice of, wrong kind of villain. I'm not really interested in this kind of a character as a super villain, and towards the end everything ends, goes back to normal. He sees the light kind of thing. All that stuff is really boring. I would have preferred to have seen a much better villain. They still find it difficult to do really awesome villains. So, Thanos still is the number one best so far. So him wanting to build his career, Black Gold, the company, and all that stuff. Um, how did he actually do his research and get to this point of getting that particular, whatever that thing was, something of um, the dream stone, sorry, that's what it's called. Everybody wishes, and then he can get something of theirs in return. He gets more powerful, but it's also killing him. So I don't know, I wasn't really happy about that part. The actor, fantastic job. The villain part, the character, not so much. Kristen Wiig, once again, like I mentioned, I adore Kristen Wiig. I love her since the first time I seen her actually in Paul, if I'm not mistaken, the movie Paul, and then I've seen her in several things after that. Even the really badly done sequel, reboot kind of thing for Ghostbusters, I still liked her in that because I like her quite a lot. But I didn't feel that kind of thing from her. She's known more for a comedic style, although she did kick ass a little bit and all that stuff, but I just didn't buy it. And once she gets her powers, they did something with her appearance that makes her looks a little bit more intimidating, a little bit more fit. So yeah, but the cheetah part was like very less. So I wasn't really convinced. And then towards the end, we don't really know what happens to her. Robin Wright, Connie Nielsen. So that's pretty good. Chris Pine coming back. Yeah, I did find that kind of odd, to be honest, but that's probably one of the ways they can actually bring him back. They could have brought him back, like maybe something to do with some kind of time machine going and pulling him back before the plane explodes or something like that. Now, let's get to the main character. Gal Gadot, absolutely amazing. I think I can't find any fault with her. The only thing that I didn't like coming to her is it's very similar to the first movie, in which how she defeats the villain is by talking about love and caring and all that stuff, and that gives her the motivation to fight back, and she wins. Something very similar happens over here, because although that effect is actually not on him, on Pedro Pascal's character, but at the same time it reaches out to everybody. And I found that, like, just because she's going to say that, everybody starts I renounce my wish and all that stuff, that's kind of like, it's too cheesy, too corny, and that's the problem with the entire script. They could have done something way better. Bringing them as a couple, I think, made a lot of sense, because I think the two of them did have a lot of chemistry in the first movie, so obviously it is going to pan out. Yeah, but I think the way they should have done it is to have the villain bring his appearance, and then, like, she has to kill him or something like that. They would have been much darker, but then DC is supposed to be much darker. So that's my problem with this movie, that I thought it became really cheesy and corny towards the end, and kind of like built more like an adventure movie for a little bit, with the traveling and all that stuff to the desert area in the Middle East and all those things. So I did not like the costume that she had, what was that, the armor of Ariti. Oh yeah, that was a really surprising thing. I didn't know this was going to happen. Linda Carter appears in a small cameo appearance towards the end, in the end credits, as Asteria, who was the Amazon warrior who had that powerful wingsuit. So when we see Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, Diana Prince in that suit, I didn't think it was very well. I didn't like really look, it was like for me as such. But the rest of the stuff is fine. It's very pretty to look at. It's very nice to look at. Like, cinematography, the special effects, all that is pretty well done. The fight scenes. There's a lot of jumping around and all that stuff, but yeah, I think most of it was pretty well done. The problem is the villains, again, big letdown for me. I didn't feel it at all. I'm just going to do a quick check to see what did I give a rating for the first movie, because this one is going to be low. I will definitely, of course, buy the DVD when I'm not really sure if the DVD is already out, but I will definitely buy it. I'll check and see. I'm not going to be buying anything anytime soon. In January, maybe in February, I might buy a few things. So, like I mentioned, I love the first movie. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. This is going to be a low 7 out of 10. Sorry, that's all I can say about it. But yeah, I think they really did. I wasn't convinced at all. So cheers, 7 out of 10 for me for Wonder Woman 1984. I'll catch you again in another review coming up pretty soon.